video was a bit unplanned. I was sharing one of my earlier videos on X, the one discussing the United Nations articles that seem to decriminalize pedophilic behavior. While spreading the link across relevant threads, not just reviews, but to raise awareness on crucial issues like this, I realized the severity of these matters globally. The response was unexpectedly disturbing. Let's dig into it. As I mentioned, I was sharing this video because I hadn't seen much discussion about this specific issue, which could lead to the decline of civilization as we know it, not immediately, but considering how fast Overtone's window is shifting, or simply by being more informed about this topic, it fills me with both chills and anger. The United Nations agreement concluded on August 9, and while I didn't dig too deep initially, what I found before that date is absolutely diabolical. It seems like there was a deliberate media and judicial agenda to spotlight figures like Ava Tyson first, then Andrew Tate after the mentioned date. Twofold fair and convenient. This scapegoating tactic is common in highest power spheres, allowing the United Nations to minimize danger. I rescue an excerpt from Robert Greene's 48 Laws of Power to give some rationale. The use of scapegoats is as old as civilization itself, and examples of it can be found in cultures around the world. The main idea behind these sacrifices is the shifting of guilt and sin to an outside figure, object, animal, or man, which is then banished or destroyed. They freed themselves of guilt by transferring it to an innocent person whose death was intended to satisfy the divine powers and banish the evil from their midst. It is an extremely human response to not look inward after a mistake or crime, but rather to look outward and to affix blame and guilt on a convenient object. That's also why official documents are often overly complex and not citizen-friendly, so the average reader with a short attention span won't spend time understanding the redundancies. Now, but this court favorite could serve as a convenient scapegoat in case of a threat to the king's reputation. The public would readily believe in the scapegoat's guilt. Why would the king sacrifice his favorite unless he were guilty? Regarding X, a platform I disliked a decade ago, I see its usefulness now for anyone who wants a quick reality check, which I appreciate, even if it's shocking. It's crucial to make distinctions here. Pedophilia, as a psychiatric disorder, is a disturbing arousal distortion. However, pedophiles, people, often labeled MAPs, minor attracted persons, are becoming a social class phenomenon. Let me explain. When you look at these cases, two patterns often emerge. The first group, well known to the public, includes men of high status, living successful lives socially and economically, but not spiritually. They have everything in a competitive life, and once their system is accustomed to constant dopamine from achievements, reaching the top of Maslow's pyramid, they lose their virtue, abuse power, and cross moral boundaries. First, they hide it, then they try to convince others of its righteousness. For these people, manipulation itself is pleasurable. The second group is at the opposite end of the social spectrum. It includes men, though there are exceptions. This second group is in the mid-lower class, but the relevant factors are loneliness and social awkwardness, not always, but often. They don't try to engage with their usual environment, so they give up and seek easy results, targeting the most vulnerable. Typically, these are individuals from 35 years old, often engaging in virtue signaling to hide or avoid suspicion, making them likely to work as teachers or social workers. A disgrace to humanity. In the following clip, Kentucky Senator and physician Berg justifies pedophilia, and the room's reaction is clearly adverse.
I was completely unfamiliar with child sex dolls, so I had, of course, to Google it last night. I was a little scared to put it in my search engine, but I did.
Bruh.
And apparently, there is research on the subject. Not much, but there are what they call MAPs, minor attracted persons. And the limited amount of research that's done on these dolls, guys, suggests that they actually, for people who are attracted to minors, these dolls actually decrease their
Look at this guy. Look at him. Oh, God. Look at him.
to go out and attack children.
No,
that it
Berg,
actually
you're
gives
wrong.
them a release
Nope.
that makes them less likely to go outside
Wrong.
of their home.
Look at this guy.
And what was interesting is the research did not support the same conclusions for people.
This is Kentucky,
who are
first
attracted
Jewish
to using
senator,
dolls.
right?
That did not diminish their proclivity to engage other people, but for those with
She's laughing.
so I'm just a little concerned that, and like I say, the research is not very good. It is not comprehensive.
Okay, so
but the
why do you say
research that is
that's
out there is conclusive.
She justifies this depravity with research, suggesting the use of dummy dolls to satisfy grooming urges, combined with isolation. Although she acknowledges the failure of that methodology, the fact she discusses it so openly underscores how dark and incoherent her inner self is. Her transgender son, who took his life at 24, was the deputy press secretary of the Human Rights Campaign, LGBT main political lobby in the US. The irony speaks for itself. As a side note, the president of this lobby is also the executive director of Planned Parenthood, Kelly Robinson. I'll stop here for my own sanity. Katie Porter, a California Democrat, claims this degeneration as an identity. As expected, she has links with NAR All Pro-Choice America, a lobby that advocates for abortion. All this leads me to think that this depravity serves a dual purpose in destroying families, which have been proven over generations to be the most effective social unit. Proof lies in banking families. On one hand, it raises insecurity in schools, discouraging those of prime childbearing age from starting a family. On the other, the remaining perverts, who will gather like leeches, will have a reason to cry out in the coming years, as long as there are degenerates in high places supporting those in the lower ones. And remember, anyone in between will be labeled a fascist. I want to conclude this video about pedo Twitter run with 2 clips. The first represents how dangerous is the linguistic relativity, mostly when brought towards innocent kids. Let's see it.
When there are signs of physical maturity, it becomes permissible for the husband in Islamic law to have marital relationships or consummate the relation with his bride. And this is the example of the Prophet, peace be upon him.
Do you know what precocious puberty is?
Starting puberty unusually early.
Is there anything in Islam that prevents you from, a man marrying a 5-year-old that started precocious puberty?
You can arrange a marriage even as an infant, but that doesn't mean that sex is allowed.
Could a man have a marriage to a 5-year-old consummated if she started precocious puberty?
If she starts showing signs of physical maturity, then yes, that's permissible. As I
What
said,
about age 4?
if there are signs
3.
So this is something that becomes biologically impossible because
I have a
puberty,
study
there are
that shows
no.
it goes as early as 11 months.
Well, that's something that the parents would not. See, the thing about Islamic marriage is that parents are involved at these ages. And when you look at the marriage of the Prophet, peace be upon him, when there are signs of physical maturity, it becomes.
I do not certainly know if this man lives in archaic Arabia. One strong critic about the religious bigotry is the incapacity to differentiate morality when their inner voices are speaking for them and get rid of the unpractical or unmoral knowledge or ruling of an Islamic law, like in this case. I invite anyone to search about the specific hadith which specifies that the Prophet, who was in his 50s, married a 6-year-old girl and consummated when she was 9. I don't trust that hadith's information anyway, but the fact of not exposed criticism by this acolytes raised the suspicion substantially. The second clip is from this individual, who does not have other adjective than evil. He knows what he is doing from the beginning to the end, tries to escape, and even to appeal to compassion when he got arrested. I wonder how many times this type of dreadful tactics worked for him. Check it out.
Probably because we're on someone else's property. If they come up, I'll just change the story. Yeah.
How you guys doing?
How's it going?
Going great.
Hey, basically, he was just telling me about.
How are you? I'm just going to wait for you. Is that all right?
Yeah, basically.
You got any weapons on you or anything?
No. Basically, officer, he was just telling me there's all these child porn groups in Huntsville, right? That you know about and all that.
What the hell? Making sure you got no weapons on you or anything. Don't go anywhere. You just hang out, sit down. You're good. You're being detained right now, okay? You understand that?
For what?
Because we're investigating a crime.
Officer, can you make sure you give my messages back right there so I can show those to you? Thank you so much. Oh, shit. Let's go! Let's go! Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. Based Huntsville. Based fucking Huntsville.
You understand? Are you done? Are you done?
Based Huntsville. Let's go.
Absolutely.
Let's go.
Get free.
Here, take it.
You done?
Oh, we got George Floyd.
Breathe.
You could breathe.
Look. Film.
Stop breathe. Breathe.
Literally have no weight on.
All right. We got George Floyd of pedos right here saying he can't breathe. He just admitted to me that he's been in groups with pornography as young as infants and toddlers, and he's messaging tons of minors online, including our 11-year-old decoy. So he's get what he deserved. He said he's been in thousands of child porn. It's probably the most we've ever had anybody admit to us. So he has incarceritis right now, guys.
Can you stop by me, please? Okay, I'm gonna give you an ambulance. Now, you just ran and now you're resisting. I'm gonna get you an ambulance. I can break it off. I'm really. Put your niggas, I'm gonna sit you up. You understand?
Let me sit up if you help me, please.
No.
Holy shit.
That's all for this video. Like and subscribe if you want more of this content. See you next time.